My Lords, I rise first of all to commend the noble Lady Baroness Fuchs for bringing this bill to the House and for championing it. And from the Green Group, I wish to express my strongest possible support for the bill as it stands and opposition to all of the amendments. Now, I've been in your Lordship's House nearly 4 years now, and I have to admit that I was rather surprised when I looked at the rather misnamed grouping of amendments here. We have something I've never seen before, a list of, 62 amendments and 62 groups. It's rather surprising that people who perhaps might regard themselves as champions of the tradition of the House have produced this never before seen in recent history, and I checked with someone who's been around the House much longer, something that could keep this House going for several days. Those who would champion the traditions of the House and the progress of the House would appear to be heading in the opposite direction with these. I think it's also very interesting to look at the gender balance of the names on the amendments. Every single name on those amendments is a male. I think there's something to be said there. I was only having a conversation with a noble lord the other day about how some countries in the global south, it's often been put forward that maybe if we could just hand them over to the women and let the women run things, how different they would look. And I think that might be an interesting case study that we're seeing tonight. Certainly.
I understand what you're saying, but is she really implying that those people, such as myself, who put down amendments, have no right to express an opinion on this, and that their views are valueless because we're not female?
I would love to see a true balance of gender contributions in your Lordship's House, as I'd love to see a balance of membership in this House. We're, of course, a very long way from that point in this House and indeed in the other place. Now, something else that joins the people expressing views here tonight in terms of moving the amendments is these are a small number of people who appear to think that hunting is a sport. Well, it might be something like a sport if you gave the elephants, the lions, the birds guns. But until you do that, it's a slaughter. And that's what the proposers of amendments to this very modest, heavily supported bill, and it's noticeable where something else about the amendees and the people indeed sitting in the chamber tonight are all largely in the benches on one side. And this was a 2019 Conservative manifesto promise to ban imports of hunting trophies from endangered species. And the intent for such legislation was in the Queen's speeches in 2019 and 2022. A 2022 public opinion survey showed that 80% of the British public support a ban on the imports of hunting trophies. And the House of Commons, and again those champions of tradition who say we're the unelected House and we should not stand in the way of the front of the will of the House of Commons, the Commons passed this bill with only minor amendments in March 2023. Now, my Lords, I just want to pick up one point expressed by the noble Earl of Caithness, who spoke about closeness to nature. Now, we are talking about imports of these trophies into the UK. Practices of Indigenous people embedded in local landscapes is one thing. A UK dentist or a UK aristocrat bringing back a trophy from Africa is something else again. So, my Lords, I'd ask everyone who's proposing amendments to this bill to search their conscience, to ask themselves what they are really doing in this House this evening.
Right.